Federal authorities say he's plenty smart enough to have engineered a sophisticated stock manipulation scheme that's netted him hundreds of thousands of dollars in illegal profits.
Let me set the scene, actually. Okay, the year is 1999, 2000. Okay, either or of those years. You can pick and choose. It doesn't matter. You're chilling. Okay, Limp Bizkit just came out with, what was the song called? Limp Bizkit song. Limp Bizkit's Breaking Stuff just came out. I wasn't alive. I wasn't born then. 9/11 has not happened yet, so spirits are high. You, the viewer, you're a kid in the early 2000s. What are you? Are you the nerdy guy? You throwing footballs and making out with the cheerleader. Jonathan Lebed, okay, he was doing something else. He was doing something a little weird, something a little wonky.
And he's been playing the stock market from his bedroom computer since he was 13 years old, and as the pile of crumpled 20s on his dresser might indicate, doing quite well. If he told his buddies he had made close to $1 million, they probably wouldn't have believed him.
Well, some teenagers my age would be trading baseball cards. I see bigger potential in this.
Jonathan Lebed was a 15-year-old kid from Cedar Grove, Jersey, who went to Cedar Grove High School, who made about 800 grand in illicit stock trading on penny stocks. He was also the youngest person to ever get charged by the SEC. This is pre-drop shipping. This is pre-crypto. This is pre-internet trading shit. You know that fucking kid in high school who says or actually is making a bunch of money doing some weird internet commerce shit? He decided to open 2 brokerage accounts under his dad's name and started trading. But, like any kid in the early 2000s, he had a cool boxy computer that I wish I had.
So this is your office?
Yes.
Command Central.
And for a normal kid, you might be looking at things that you're not supposed to look at. You know what I'm talking about, viewer. Trying to look up what the biggest lizard is on the planet because you're just bored. For Jonathan Lebed, he would go on Yahoo Finance boards and spam messages to manipulate stock prices.
Hundreds of messages, actually, under a variety of names. His online recommendations, accompanied by legitimate financial data, were always quite bullish. He called one of his holdings the most undervalued stock in history. Another was going to be the next stock to gain 2,000%.
Like 200, 300 at a time, being like, yeah, bro, this stock, I'm telling you, dude, next 1,000x. It's going up 1,000%. Or he'd say some shit like, yo, this stock is the most undervalued stock ever. None of it was true. All the stocks were garbage. And the way he found them was he would go on trading websites for the NASDAQ and look at the low volume stocks with low market caps. So basically meaning he'd look for companies that weren't worth a lot of money, that weren't really on the radar for anybody. And when there was no trading volume, he'd say, all right, I'm going to buy a few hundred shares, post that it's being traded because he's the one buying it, and then saying, well, it's going to be the next big thing, but saying it 200 or 300 times under multiple different names.
You were trying to make the price of the stock go up.
Yes.
The stock you owned.
Yes.
And then you sold.
Yes.
It didn't last long. He had about 12 trades, very significant amounts of money. The lowest amount of money he made was about $12,000, and the highest was $75,000. And in between that, he made about 800 grand total. He bought his fucking parents a Mercedes.
Jonathan has bought us a car.
A Mercedes SUV, to be precise. Price tag, $42,000.
You going to be driving it to school anytime soon?
Well, I just got my permit the other day, so...
You just got your learner's permit?
Yes.
That's a very Jersey choice to buy a Mercedes. I wonder if he was Italian. But it didn't last long. Lasted about a year. And then the SEC came in and said, hey, kid, you can't fucking lie to people and tell them that that these stocks are worth a bunch of money and you're going to be worth a bunch of money. That you're just lying to people.
As it turns out, the Securities and Exchange Commission had been monitoring his trade since 1998, and earlier this year finally decided to accuse him of securities fraud.
This was a calculated, ongoing effort to defraud innocent investors.
Arthur Levitt is the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission. He says Jonathan Lebed seems to have mastered an age-old Wall Street swindle called the pump and dump.
Fucking telling people that this shit's worth money when it's not. It's not worth a dime. He's buying like Chinese companies and like probably just like weird I don't know all the companies were listed on the SEC's website. I was buying like snail farms. I like to imagine what it would be like making 800 fucking grand and you're 15 and you're going to school still. I fantasize about being that kid in the year 2000, trading, going to school, being like, whatever, you know. What did I do last night? He's flirting with girls. He's smooth as shit. He's going off to me. He's like, yeah, Stacey, I was just thinking, like, I don't know what you're doing tomorrow, but, like, I just got this Mercedes. Are you working? Do you want to go out? We can go to this fucking... You ever been to Applebee's?
The SEC acknowledged that it didn't receive any complaints from investors who felt they'd been cheated by Jonathan Lebed until after the case became public. Since then, the SEC says it's received about 24 complaints. Rather than go to court over the allegation that he's a crook, Jonathan Lebed negotiated a settlement with the SEC. He agreed to turn over $285,000 that he earned from 11 trades, without acknowledging that he did anything wrong. His lawyer called it a business decision, and given that Lebed made in the neighborhood of $800,000, it seems like a pretty good decision.
All of 15 back in 2000. He became the first miner ever, and I think he's probably still the only miner ever, to settle with the SEC over a financial crime. It led to a 60 Minutes interview, Time Magazine covers, and a whole lot of hype. And obviously the hype is continuing, as evidenced on your TV set right now. Jonathan's still recommending stocks on the internet on top of it all. Nowadays, he does it at lebed.biz. I don't even know about this, man. Lebed.biz. I got to back up. I went to lebed.biz today. I'm going to just fast forward past 2000. We'll come back to that in a minute. I'm looking at the stock that you had recommending to people today. What's the stock symbol?
ETEV?
No, you had SUFH.
SUFH.
An Albuquerque-based company. Not really based in Albuquerque, though. I started calling the company. I called their PR department. They're not even in the place they say. I said, how many people you guys have working for you? Less than 10. I said, well, less than 5. I don't think so, but he didn't even know. Is this a real company? What are you doing touting? And not only that, at the bottom of it, you say you've been paid $40,000 by someone who wanted you to write about this stock this time. What are you doing here? What are you doing here, man?
Nah, I wasn't compensated for that pick at all. There was absolutely no.
But he had compensated you in the past, which means you've been paid to tout stocks from him, and you're probably doing this so that you'll be paid in the future to tout stocks from him. Let's call it what it is. Let's keep it real with our viewers. How about that, man?
That's why I fully disclose everything on the website there. That's why you had a disclaimer there that you read about it. So
why even do it? Why do something wrong and then disclaim I'm doing something wrong? Because that really is. You don't believe in this company. You don't know anything about this company, and yet you're recommending it to thousands of people. You got people watching on TV today, millions of homes right now, and you're saying, yeah, the stock might be okay. You don't know.
Well, it gained 85% after we put it out, and we had so many winners this year.
And all those people who bought it, all those people who listened to you and bought it after it was up 85%, lost their money.
I picked First Solar at 62.20. It went to 283 the other day. I had ASTI at 10.10. It went to about $28 the other day. I had like 8 different winners in the solar industry this year.
All of which
they're all real companies, and so is SUFH.
No, it is not.
We had so many winners in the solar industry. You're trying to tell me that's a fake company.
I am telling you. I'm telling you that you should not be recommending the stock if you haven't even talked to them, if you don't even know what their balance sheet looks like, if you don't know anything about the company. You just know, and I read you what your criteria is. And really what I'm saying is, if you don't believe in the company, if someone is paying you to talk about a stock, why do that? Why not? Yeah, you can say I'm doing it legally because I'm disclosing it, but as a moral thing, as an ethical thing, why even go down that route? Why even open it up to these people?
Small cap companies aren't featured in the Wall Street Journal or Time Magazine or anything like that. They need exposure.
This company does not need exposure.
If we don't get them exposure, it's hard for them to raise money. It's hard to become
So you're really going to argue to me right now that you're doing good by the world by taking money and touting a stock that you don't believe in?
Yeah, I'm helping get exposure for so many companies. Neural Stem the other day, they're bringing stem cells onto the market and curing paralyzed people. They already did it in rats. CUR is a symbol.
How many of the insiders dumped when you pop the stock 80%?
You're crazy,
whatever
man.
It was?
You're funny. Nobody dumped anything on that, you know. I'm just finding so many good companies. The last 8 picks I had with a speculative rating of 1 on lebed.biz, my highest level of confidence. The average pick gained 127% from my pick price to the high this year, and that's all verifiable on the website.
And Danny, I want to know how many out of those number 8 picks did you actually get paid for? How many did you actually buy or recommend because you believed in it, and how many did you actually get paid under the table? But let's disclose it.
Wasn't paid for any of them. The majority of my picks.
Your number 1 speculatives you don't get paid for, but the number 2. So if I'm a subscriber and I know it's a number 2, then
the ones I'm paid for are through my email alerts, my free newsletter, and we fully disclose everything that I'm compensated. And on the website, my stocks to watch, I'm not compensated at all. I'm the only person that actually profiles companies, and there's no conflict of interest at all. You know,
you had conflict of interest in the one I read. It was obvious that you were trying. The $40,000 you've been paid by the guy who wanted you to talk about this stock in the past, and I can tell that you're wanting to get more business from him in the future, dude. My whole point is, look, if you don't believe in it, why hype it? Don't take outside money. Try and do what's right. Try and buy the stock that you think is really going to go up on its own merits, not hype.
I just have the best track record, and if you go to my site, you can verify everything for yourself. And I fully disclose everything. I mean, that's all I was doing, and I'm just giving them facts. So.
I will wish you the best of luck, but I got to tell you guys, when you're trading stocks, even if it's legal, just make sure you're being ethical. Thank you so much. We got more Happy Hour on tap. That's after this.